I knew something was wrong the moment I woke up on the bathroom floor, and I couldn't remember how I got there. The tiles were freezing against my cheek, my legs were shaking, and the pain, God, the pain felt like someone was clawing through my abdomen from the inside. I opened my eyes and realized I was in the ER bathroom. I had passed out. Again. A nurse knocked sharply on the door. "Ma'am, you need to come out. You can't lie on the floor. It's just cramps." Just cramps. If only she knew I had vomited twice. If only she knew my vision kept going white at the edges. If only she knew I had been living like this for almost 5 years. My name is Rachel Martinez. I'm 32, and for half a decade, every doctor told me to relax. Relax, while my body was screaming that something was terribly, dangerously wrong. I pushed myself upright, grabbing the wall to stay steady. When I finally opened the bathroom door, the ER doctor didn't even look at me. He barely glanced over the top of his clipboard. "Your vitals are fine. Ultrasound is clear. You're probably stressed. Go home and rest." Rest? I could barely stand. I had bled through a pad and half my jeans. I was shaking so hard I could hear my teeth click. But none of that mattered. To him, I was just another dramatic woman who couldn't handle her period. And after years of hearing the same message, I started to wonder if maybe they were right. Maybe I was weak. Maybe every woman felt pain like this, and I was the only one who couldn't push through it. I walked out of the ER slowly, my husband David rushing to grab my arm. "Did they help you? What'd they say?" I swallowed hard. "They told me to relax." His face fell. It wasn't the first time. It wouldn't be the last. It didn't start this bad. In the beginning, it was just different. My periods hurt more than my friends. My back ached. I felt sharp, stabbing pains that made me double over. But every time I mentioned it to Dr. Whitman, my OB-GYN, he smiled like I was a kid with a scraped knee. "You're young. This is normal. Periods hurt. Try yoga. Drink more water." Yoga. Water. As if hydration could fix the feeling of knives twisting inside my pelvis. I'll never forget the day I collapsed in the bathroom at work. One minute I was presenting in a meeting, the next I was gripping the sink, sweating, praying the wave of pain would pass. My coworker Jen found me curled on the floor. "Oh my God, Rachel, seriously? It's just cramps. Everyone gets them." Everyone gets them. She repeated it like it was a fact, like she was diagnosing me herself. But she didn't see the clots. She didn't see the blood soaking through 2 pads in an hour. She didn't feel the pain that stole my breath. David tried. He really did. But when date nights kept getting canceled, when intimacy made me cry from the pain, when medical bills piled up with no answers, he cracked too. One night, I told him I couldn't stand long enough to cook dinner. I was shaking, clinging to the counter. "Rachel, maybe you do worry too much about your period." That sentence broke me in a way the pain never could. We started trying for a baby at 29. Everyone said it would be easy. Everyone said we were young. But month after month, nothing. I brought up my pain again. Dr. Whitman chuckled. "You're not infertile, you're anxious. Stress can delay conception. Stop Googling things." Meanwhile, I was passing out in showers, bleeding through clothes, missing work, losing myself. But the doctor said I was stressed. My coworker said I was dramatic. My husband said maybe I worried too much. I told myself the same lies they told me. Until the night everything changed. I had collapsed in the ER bathroom. The doctor dismissed me. I was about to leave, defeated, when a young female resident touched my arm gently. "Rachel, your symptoms don't sound normal. Please see a specialist. Don't let them tell you this is just stress." My breath caught. It was the first time, in 5 years, someone believed me. And that moment, That single sentence is the only reason I finally discovered the truth. The truth that stage 4 endometriosis was spreading inside me, binding my organs together and stealing my future, while everyone told me to just relax. What none of them knew, not the dismissive doctors, not my well-meaning coworker, not even David in those early years, was that the disease destroying me from the inside would cost me everything. My fertility, my career, nearly my marriage, and 5 years of my life I'll never get back. 5 years of being told I was dramatic. 5 years of bleeding through clothes at work. 5 years. That resident's words stayed with me. See a specialist. Don't let them tell you this is just stress. For the first time in 5 years, someone believed me. But getting to a specialist wasn't simple. I needed a referral from Dr. Whitman, the same Dr. Whitman who'd been dismissing me for 3 years. I called his office the next morning. I need an appointment. I need a referral to an endometriosis specialist. The receptionist sighed, like I'd personally inconvenienced her day. Dr. Whitman will need to evaluate you first to determine if a referral is warranted. Warranted. My suffering needed his approval. When can I see him? 2 weeks from Thursday. 2 weeks. I can't wait that long. I'm in severe pain. If it's an emergency, you should go to the ER. I've been to the ER. They told me to follow up with my doctor. Then I'll see you in 2 weeks. Click. She hung up. I sat there holding the phone, shaking with frustration. 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks of pain. 2 more weeks of bleeding through my clothes at work. 2 more weeks of wondering if I was dying. David came into the kitchen. What did they say? 2 weeks. Can you wait that long? I laughed, a bitter, broken sound. Do I have a choice? Those 2 weeks were some of the worst of my life. I called in sick 4 days, spent them curled in bed with a heating pad, popping ibuprofen that barely touched the pain. David tried to help, brought me water, made soup I couldn't eat, sat with me in silence because there was nothing to say. At work, my boss Karen was losing patience. Rachel, I need you to be honest with me. Are you able to do your job? I'm trying. Trying isn't enough. I need someone I can count on. I'm seeing a doctor. I'm working on it. She looked at me skeptically. Fine. But if this continues, we'll need to have a different conversation. I knew what that meant. Get better or get fired. The appointment with Dr. Whitman finally came. I'd been waiting for this for 2 weeks. Prepared what I'd say, how I'd advocate for myself, how I wouldn't leave without a referral. But the minute I sat down in his office, all my preparation crumbled. He sat behind his desk, barely looking at me, typing notes into his computer. So, Rachel, you're back again. What seems to be the problem now? The problem now. Like I was a chronic complainer. Like I came to his office for fun. I took a breath. I was in the ER last week. A resident there suggested I might have endometriosis. I need a referral to a specialist so we can investigate. He stopped typing, turned to look at me, and then he laughed. Not a polite chuckle, a full, condescending laugh. Oh, Rachel, let me guess. You spent the weekend on Google and now you're an expert? My face burned. A doctor suggested it. A resident at the ER. He laughed again. Shook his head like I'd just told him a joke. A resident. Right. Someone barely out of medical school with 0 real-world experience. And you're taking her word over mine? Over a doctor with 15 years of practice? I'm not taking her word over yours. I'm asking you to investigate. He held up his hand, silencing me like a child. Rachel, do you know how many women come through this office convinced they have endometriosis after 20 minutes on the internet? It's the new trendy diagnosis. Everyone thinks they have it, just like everyone thought they had fibromyalgia 10 years ago. I stared at him. This isn't a trend. This is my life. Your life? Rachel, you're 31 years old. You're married. You have a good job. And you're wasting your time and mine chasing a diagnosis that doesn't exist. His words hit like slaps. My test results have been normal for 3 years, he continued, his voice dripping with condescension. Normal ultrasounds, normal blood work, normal pelvic exams. The only thing that's not normal is your catastrophic thinking. I'm not catastrophizing. Yes, you are. And it's making everything worse. The mind-body connection is incredibly powerful, Rachel. Women who obsess over their symptoms create their own pain. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. My hands were shaking. I'm not making this up. I'm collapsing. I'm passing out. I'm bleeding through. You're having panic attacks, he interrupted. Anxiety manifesting as physical symptoms. It's textbook. No, it's not, Rachel. He leaned forward, steepling his fingers. I'm going to be very honest with you. I think you're depressed. I think you're fixating on physical pain because you don't want to face emotional pain. And I think surgery is the absolute worst thing for someone in your mental state. I couldn't breathe. He kept going. Have you considered that maybe, just maybe, your body is trying to tell you something? That perhaps you're not meant to have children? That you're subconsciously sabotaging yourself? The room tilted. What did you just say? He shrugged. Not every woman is meant to be a mother, Rachel. And I think the sooner you accept that, the sooner you can move on with your life. I stood up. My chair scraped loudly against the floor. A nurse in the hallway looked in. Dr. Whitman didn't flinch. I'm not referring you for surgery. But I will refer you to Dr. Chen, an excellent psychiatrist. I think 6 months of therapy would do you far more good than go to hell. The words came out before I could stop them. His eyebrows shot up. Excuse me? You heard me. Go to hell. I grabbed my purse, walked toward the door. He called after me. Rachel, I'm trying to help you. I turned around. No, you're trying to make me go away, because listening to me would require you to admit you were wrong for 3 years. And God forbid Dr. Whitman admits he missed something. I didn't miss anything. Yes, you did. And one day, when you finally get proof of that, I hope it haunts you. I walked out. The nurse at the front desk looked up, startled. Other patients in the waiting room stared. I didn't care. I was done. Done being dismissed. Done begging for help. Done letting him make me feel crazy. And done protecting his reputation by suffering in silence. David was waiting in the car. How'd it go? I got in, slammed the door. Didn't speak for a full minute. Then I said, he refused. Said I need a psychiatrist, not a surgeon. David's face went pale. He said, what? He thinks it's in my head. He thinks I'm catastrophizing. He thinks I need therapy, not treatment. That's insane. Is it? Because you've said similar things. Maybe you're stressed. Maybe you worry too much. Sound familiar? His face fell. Rachel, I didn't mean it like that. Didn't you? Because for the past 3 years, you've been acting like maybe Dr. Whitman had a point. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe I was making it worse by focusing on it. I was trying to find answers. You were trying to find answers that made this easier for you. Because if it's in my head, then you don't have to feel guilty about doubting me. You don't have to feel bad about the times you got frustrated with me for canceling plans. You don't have to face the fact that I've been suffering and you didn't believe me. He opened his mouth, closed it, didn't know what to say. Neither did I. We drove home in silence. That night, I called my insurance company. The automated system made me press 7 different numbers before I reached a human. Thank you for calling Blue Cross Blue Shield. How can I help you? I need to see an endometriosis specialist. Can I do that without a referral from my primary care physician? Typing sounds on the other end. Let me check your plan. Okay, your plan requires a referral for specialist visits. Without a referral, the visit wouldn't be covered. What if I pay out of pocket? You're welcome to see any provider out of pocket, but it won't count toward your deductible or out-of-pocket maximum. How much would a consultation cost? That varies by provider, but typically between $300 and $500 for an initial visit. And if they recommend surgery? Surgery costs vary widely, but without insurance, you're looking at anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000, depending on complexity. My stomach dropped. Is there any way to get a referral from a different doctor? You could try contacting patient advocacy or filing a complaint if you feel your doctor is refusing medically necessary care. But that process can take weeks to months. Weeks to months. I didn't have weeks to months. Okay, thank you. I hung up. Sat on the couch, did the math. We had $11,000 in our house fund. We'd been saving for 3 years. Every bonus, every tax return, every dollar we didn't spend on dinners out, all earmarked for a down payment for our future. But what good was a house if I couldn't live in my own body? What good was planning for the future if I didn't survive the present? I made the decision. right then. I'd use the house money, all of it. I'd see a specialist. I'd get the surgery. I'd get answers. And if David didn't support me, then I'd know where we stood. I found a specialist through an online endometriosis support group. Dr. Sarah Kim, endometriosis and fertility specialist, Seattle Reproductive Health Center. $500 for initial consultation. Out of pocket, no insurance. I booked the appointment online. Didn't tell David, not yet. Would deal with that after I saw the doctor. The appointment was 3 weeks away. 3 more weeks of hell. But this time, it felt different. This time, I had hope. The morning of the consultation, I woke up nervous. What if this doctor was like Dr. Whitman? What if she dismissed me too? What if I was wrong? And there really was nothing physically wrong. But then I remembered the ER resident. Your symptoms don't sound normal. Someone believed me, and I had to believe myself too. Dr. Kim's office was nothing like Dr. Whitman's. Warm, welcoming, art on the walls, comfortable chairs. The receptionist smiled at me. You must be Rachel. Dr. Kim will be right with you. I filled out paperwork. Medical history, pain scale. How many ER visits? How many years of symptoms? It was validating just to see my pain quantified on paper. Dr. Kim came to get me herself. Young, late 30s maybe. Kind eyes, warm smile. She shook my hand. Rachel, I'm Dr. Kim. Come on back. Her exam room was bright. She sat down across from me, not behind a desk, across from me. Like we were equals. Tell me everything, she said. Start from the beginning. Don't leave anything out. And don't worry about time. I've blocked out an hour for you. An hour. Dr. Whitman never gave me more than 15 minutes. So I told her everything. The pain that started at 24. The way it progressively got worse. The ER visits. The dismissals. The bleeding. The fainting. The impact on my work, my marriage, my life. She listened to every word. Took notes. Asked questions. Didn't interrupt. Didn't check her watch. Just listened. When I finished, I was crying, not because I was sad, but because someone was finally hearing me. She handed me a tissue. Rachel, she said gently, I believe you. 3 words, that's all it took. 3 words I'd been desperate to hear for 5 years. I sobbed. She let me, didn't rush me, didn't look uncomfortable, just sat there and let me cry. When I finally collected myself, she continued, based on everything you've described, the progression, the severity, the specific type of pain, the timing, I strongly suspect you have endometriosis. And given how long you've been suffering, I suspect it's advanced. But my ultrasounds were normal, she nodded. That's common. Ultrasounds miss endometriosis more often than they catch it. The gold standard for diagnosis is a diagnostic laparoscopy. We go in with a camera, look around, and if we find endometriosis, we remove what we can in the same procedure. And if you don't find anything, then we keep looking. But Rachel, based on your symptoms, I'd be shocked if we didn't find it. My regular doctor said I don't need surgery, that it's probably anxiety. Her jaw tightened. Your regular doctor is wrong. And his dismissal of your symptoms borders on medical negligence. I'd never heard a doctor criticize another doctor. It was shocking and vindicating. How much will the surgery cost? I asked. She pulled out a sheet. Without insurance, the surgery itself is around $12,000 to $15,000. That includes the facility fee, anesthesia, and my surgical fee. Pre-op labs and imaging add another few hundred. What if I can't get insurance to cover it? We can appeal. Sometimes if we document severity, insurance will approve without a referral, but it's not guaranteed. I've also worked with patients on payment plans when needed. I nodded, doing the math in my head. I want to do it, whatever it costs. I need to know. She smiled. Then let's get you scheduled. At work, I started missing more days. My boss, Karen, pulled me into her office. Rachel, we need to talk about your attendance. I know, I'm sorry. I've been dealing with a medical issue. Is there a diagnosis? Documentation? Not yet. I'm waiting to see a specialist. She frowned. I need something from a doctor. Otherwise, I have to write you up. I'm trying. My doctor won't refer me. Then maybe you need a different doctor. As if it were that simple. As if I hadn't been trying. The next day, things got worse. I was in a team meeting when the cramps hit. Sharp. Stabbing. Unbearable. I tried to breathe through it. Tried to focus on the presentation. But my vision started going white at the edges. I stood up, muttered, "Excuse me," and rushed to the bathroom. Made it to a stall just before I collapsed. Sat on the floor, back against the wall, trying not to pass out. 10 minutes later, I heard the bathroom door open. Footsteps. Then my coworker, Jessica's voice.
Rachel? You in here?
Yeah. You okay? Just give me a minute. She was quiet for a moment.
Then she said,
Rachel, I need to be honest with you. People are talking. My stomach dropped.
what?
About how much you're missing, how often you leave meetings, how you're always sick. I closed my eyes. I have a medical condition, I know, but it looks bad. And some people are saying you're faking it to get out of work. The words hit like a punch. Who's saying that? Does it matter? Yes, it matters, she sighed. Look, I'm trying to help you, but if you don't get documentation soon, Karen's going to have no choice but to let you go. And honestly, some people think that would be for the best. I opened the stall door. Jessica was standing there, arms crossed, looking uncomfortable but not sympathetic. Are you one of those people? She didn't answer right away. Then, I think if you can't do your job, then maybe you shouldn't be here. I stared at her. We'd worked together for 2 years, had lunch together, talked about our lives. And now she was telling me I should quit? Get out, I said quietly. Rachel, get out. She left. I went back into the stall, sat on the floor, and cried. 2 days later, HR called me in. A formal complaint had been filed. Excessive absences creating burden on team members. Jessica had reported me. The HR rep, a woman named Linda with cold eyes and a fake sympathetic voice, slid a form across the table. This is a performance improvement plan. You have 30 days to provide medical documentation and improve your attendance. If you can't meet these standards, we'll have to terminate your employment. Terminate, like I was a problem to be solved, not a person who was suffering. I'm trying to get help. Then get it faster. Because right now, Rachel, you're costing this company money, and we can't afford to keep someone who can't do their job. I signed the form with shaking hands, walked back to my desk, packed up my things, left early, didn't say goodbye to anyone. Because what was the point? They'd already decided I was the problem. That weekend, David's mother came over for dinner. Patricia, always perfectly dressed, always with an opinion, and always making me feel like I wasn't good enough for her son. We were barely through appetizers when she started. So, Rachel, any news on the baby front? I froze. David jumped in. Mom, we've talked about this. I'm just asking. You've been married 3 years now. Most couples have at least one by now. I'm not getting any younger, and I'd like to be a grandmother while I can still play with them. She smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. I set down my fork. We've been trying, Patricia. It's just not happening yet. She tilted her head, like she was studying a puzzle she couldn't quite figure out. Well, how hard are you trying? Because my friend Linda's daughter got pregnant the first month, and she's your age. My jaw clenched. David shifted uncomfortably. Patricia continued, her voice dripping with false concern. You know, Rachel, I've been reading about this. Stress is the #1 cause of infertility. And you do seem tense. Maybe that's the problem. I'm stressed because I'm in constant pain, not the other way around. She laughed, that light, dismissive laugh that made my skin crawl. Oh, sweetie, every woman has painful periods. I had 3 children, and let me tell you, I dealt with pain. But I didn't let it stop me from living my life. You just have to toughen up. Toughen up, David finally spoke. Mom, Rachel's pain is more than just normal cramps. Patricia waved her hand, cutting him off. David, honey, you're a man. You don't understand women's bodies. This is completely normal. Rachel just needs to stop focusing on it so much. She turned back to me. You know what I think? I think you've convinced yourself that you have some kind of problem, and now you're manifesting it. Mind over matter, dear. If you spent less time worrying about your body and more time trying to get pregnant, you'd probably have a baby by now. The room went silent. David looked like he wanted to disappear. I felt like I'd been slapped. Patricia kept going. And honestly, Rachel, I have to say this because no one else will. Maybe you're not meant to have children. Some women just aren't. And that's okay. You have a career, you have David. You don't need a baby to be complete. My vision blurred. Excuse me? I'm just being realistic. You've been trying for how long now? 3 years? And nothing? Maybe your body is trying to tell you something. I stood up. My chair scraped loudly against the floor. My body is trying to tell me that something is wrong, that I need help. But no one, not my doctor, not my coworkers, and certainly not you, will listen. Patricia's eyes widened. She wasn't used to me fighting back. Rachel, I'm just trying to help. No, you're trying to make me feel like a failure. Like I'm not good enough for your son because I can't give you grandchildren on your timeline. That's not what I said, isn't it? Because that's what it sounds like. That's what it's always sounded like.
David stood up.
Okay, let's just...
Patricia interrupted him.
Looked him dead in the eye. David, honey, I need to ask you something. Are you happy? Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like Rachel's issues are taking over your entire life.
My heart stopped.
Mom, David started, but she kept going. You deserve to be happy. You deserve a wife who can give you children, who isn't always sick, who doesn't need you to take care of her all the time. The words hung in the air like poison. David's face went pale. Mom, you need to leave. David, I'm only saying this because I love you. Leave. Now.
Patricia stood up, grabbed her purse,
Looked at me with something between pity and disgust. I'll pray for you, Rachel. I'll pray that whatever's wrong with you gets fixed, or that you at least stop dragging my son down with you. She walked out. The front door slammed. I stood there, shaking, not from fear, from rage, from humiliation, from the crushing weight of her words. David turned to me. I'm sorry, I should have stopped her sooner. Do you agree with her? What? Do you think I'm dragging you down? Do you think you deserve a wife who isn't broken? Rachel, no, because you didn't defend me. Not really. You let her say all of that before you told her to leave. He opened his mouth, closed it, didn't know what to say. Neither did I. We stood in the wreckage of that dinner for a long time, both of us wondering if this was the moment our marriage broke for good. The consultation with Dr. Sarah Kim was 3 days later. I paid the $500 with our house fund. Didn't tell David. Would deal with that later. Dr. Kim was younger than I expected. Late 30s, warm smile, kind eyes. She sat down across from me and said, "Tell me everything." So I did. The pain that started at 24, the dismissals, the ER visits, the bleeding, the fainting, the years of being told to relax. She listened to every word, took notes, didn't interrupt, didn't look at her watch. When I finished, she was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Rachel, I believe you." 3 words, that's all it took. 3 words I'd been desperate to hear for 5 years. My eyes filled with tears. She continued gently. "Based on everything you've described, I strongly suspect you have endometriosis, possibly advanced. The only way to know for sure is a diagnostic laparoscopy." My doctor said I don't need one. Her expression hardened. "Your doctor is wrong. And frankly, his dismissal of your symptoms borders on negligent." I'd never heard a doctor criticize another doctor before. It was validating in a way I couldn't describe. "How much will the surgery cost?" I asked. "Without insurance, around $15,000. If your insurance approves it, you'd pay your deductible and co-insurance. But getting insurance approval without a referral will be difficult." "What if I can't get approval?" "Then we look at payment plans, financing options." "But Rachel, you need this surgery. Your symptoms are severe. Waiting will only make it worse." I made the decision right there. We'd use the house fund, all of it. Every dollar we'd saved for 3 years. Because what good was a house if I couldn't live in my own body? Surgery was scheduled for 6 weeks out. 6 more weeks of suffering. But this time, it felt different. This time, I had hope. I told David that night. We were in bed, lights off, both of us staring at the ceiling. I couldn't hold it in anymore. "I saw a specialist today." He turned to face me. "What?" "Dr. Sarah Kim, endometriosis specialist. I paid out of pocket." Silence. Heavy. Suffocating. Then, "How much?" $500. More silence. "And?" "She thinks I have advanced endometriosis. She wants to do surgery. How much will that cost?" Here it was. The moment I'd been dreading. $15,000. Without insurance. He sat up, turned on the lamp, looked at me like I'd just told him I'd set our house on fire. $15,000? Rachel, we don't have $15,000. Yes, we do. The house fund. That's for our house. I know. We've been saving for 3 years. I know. And you want to spend it all on surgery you might not even need? That word, need. Like my suffering was optional. David, I do need it. I'm dying. Not literally, maybe, but I'm disappearing. I can't keep living like this. But what if the doctor is wrong? What if there's nothing there? Then we've spent our entire savings for nothing. Then at least we'll know. At least we'll have tried everything. He ran his hands through his hair, a gesture I knew well. Frustration. Overwhelm. not knowing what to do. Rachel, I want to support you. I do. But $15,000? That's everything. That's our future. What future? If I can't get better, what kind of future do we even have? He didn't have an answer for that. We lay back down, didn't touch. Both of us on opposite edges of the bed, the chasm between us growing. The next morning, he came into the kitchen while I was making coffee. Okay. I turned around. Okay. Do the surgery. Use the house money. I trust you. Not, I believe you. Not, I support you. Just, I trust you. It was something. Maybe not enough, but something. Surgery was scheduled for 6 weeks out. Dr. Kim wanted time to do more imaging, more blood work, make sure we had the full picture. Those 6 weeks were brutal. Physically, my symptoms got worse, as if my body knew the end was near and decided to go out with a bang. The pain was constant, sharp and stabbing during the day, dull and throbbing at night. I bled for 3 weeks straight. Not a period, just bleeding. Dr. Kim said it was common with advanced endo. That didn't make it less terrifying. At work, Karen called me into her office. Rachel, I'm putting you on a performance improvement plan. My stomach dropped. I'm doing the best I can. Your best isn't meeting our standards. You've missed 8 days this quarter. You've left early 6 times. You're frequently late to meetings. I have a medical condition. Then you need medical documentation. A note from your doctor explaining your limitations and what accommodations you need. I'm having surgery in 4 weeks. Then get a note for that. But Rachel, I need you to understand. If your performance doesn't improve, we'll have to let you go. Let me go. Fired. For being sick. I went back to my desk and cried in the bathroom for 20 minutes. Then I emailed Dr. Kim's office asking for documentation. They sent it the next day. Karen read it with a pinched expression. Fine. We'll accommodate for the surgery and recovery. But after that, you need to be back at full capacity. Full capacity. As if surgery was a magic fix. As if years of disease could be erased in 6 weeks of recovery. But I nodded. Said thank you. Went back to my desk and wondered how much longer I could hold on. Patricia called constantly. At first, David didn't tell her about the surgery, but she wore him down. Why is Rachel sick so much? What's going on with her? Is she pregnant? Is that why she's tired? Finally, he told her, and she called me directly. David told me you're having surgery. Yes. For endometriosis? Yes. A pause. Then, Rachel, I don't want to overstep, but have you considered getting a second opinion? Surgery seems extreme. My jaw clenched. I've been suffering for 5 years, Patricia. This isn't extreme. This is necessary. I just think maybe if you tried some alternative treatments first. I've tried everything. Ibuprofen, heating pads, dietary changes, exercise, stress management. Nothing works. Well, have you tried acupuncture? I wanted to scream. Instead, I said very calmly, Patricia, I appreciate your concern, but this is my decision, and I need you to respect it. I'm just worried about the cost. David said you're using your house fund. That's between me and David. But as his mother, Patricia, I need to go. I hung up. David was standing in the doorway. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have told her. No, you shouldn't have. He came closer. She means well. Does she? Because it doesn't feel like it. It feels like she thinks I'm making this up. Like I'm being dramatic. Like I'm stealing your future by using our money to not die. She doesn't think that, doesn't she? He was quiet. Because we both knew the truth. Patricia thought I was overreacting, and part of David did too, even if he wouldn't admit it. The night before surgery, I couldn't sleep. Lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, mind racing. What if they didn't find anything? What if I went through all this, the money, the fear, the surgery, and came out with no answers? What if Dr. Whitman was right? What if it really was all in my head? The fear was suffocating. David rolled over. You awake? Yeah. You okay? Terrified. He took my hand. It's going to be okay. How do you know? I don't. But I know you're strong. And I know you fought so hard to get here. And tomorrow, we're going to get answers. What if the answers aren't what I want to hear? Then we deal with it. Together. Together. It was the first time in months he'd said that word, and I believed him. We lay there, holding hands until sunrise. The hospital was cold. Everything smelled like antiseptic. Too bright, too loud, too real. I changed into the hospital gown, those awful gowns that don't close in the back, that make you feel vulnerable and exposed. A nurse came in to start my IV. Young, probably mid-20s, warm smile. How are you feeling?
Scared. She squeezed my arm gently. That's normal.
But you're in good hands. Dr. Kim is one of the best. They wheeled me to pre-op. David walked beside me, holding my hand. Dr. Kim came to see me,
Still in her street clothes.
warm, calm, reassuring.
Ready? As ready as I'll ever be.
I'm going to take good care of you, Rachel. I promise. The anesthesiologist introduced himself, explained what would happen, how they'd put me to sleep, how I'd wake up in recovery. I barely heard him. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. They wheeled me into the OR. Cold, bright lights, people in masks. I started shaking. Not from cold, from fear. A nurse held my hand. You're okay. Just breathe. The anesthesiologist put something in my IV. You're going to feel relaxed now. And then, nothing. When I woke up, the first thing I noticed was David. He was crying. Not quiet tears, full sobs. My heart stopped. David? What did they find? Dr. Kim appeared beside my bed. Her face was gentle but serious. Rachel, you have stage 4 endometriosis. The room spun. Stage 4, the worst stage. It was extensive, she continued. On your ovaries, fallopian tubes, bladder, bowel. Your organs were adhered together. We had to carefully separate them. There were deep infiltrating lesions, a large endometrioma on your left ovary. I couldn't breathe. We removed everything we safely could. But Rachel, this disease has been progressing for years. My vision blurred with tears. She took my hand. You were not dramatic. You were not anxious. You were very, very sick. And I'm so sorry no one listened to you sooner. 5 years of dismissal crashed over me like a wave. Every doctor who shrugged, every nurse who rolled her eyes, every person who told me to just relax. They were all wrong. So wrong. And I almost believed them. David reached for my other hand, still crying. I'm so sorry, he whispered. I'm so sorry I didn't believe you. But sorry didn't undo the years of loneliness. Sorry didn't undo the damage. Recovery was hard, physically painful, emotionally exhausting. I took 4 weeks off work. Karen wasn't happy, but she couldn't legally fire me. Patricia sent flowers with a card that said, "Glad it's over. Now you can focus on getting pregnant." I threw the card in the trash. David tried to be supportive, but he didn't know how. He kept asking if I felt better yet, as if surgery was a magic fix, as if years of disease could be erased in a few weeks. At my 6-week follow-up, Dr. Kim smiled. You're healing beautifully. How's the pain? Better. Not gone, but better. That's normal. Endometriosis can return, so we'll monitor closely. But Rachel, I want to talk to you about fertility. My stomach dropped. The endometriosis did cause damage. Your left fallopian tube has scarring. Your ovarian reserve is lower than ideal for your age. Getting pregnant may be difficult. I'd known this was possible, but hearing it out loud felt like a punch. What are my options? Try naturally for 6 months. If nothing happens, we consider IVF. But I don't want you to lose hope. I've seen women with worse disease get pregnant. I nodded, tried to believe her. We started trying that month. Month 1. Nothing. Month 2, nothing. Month 3, nothing. By month 4, I was losing hope. And then Patricia called David. I only heard his side of the conversation. Mom, I told you not to bring this up. No, she's not being dramatic. Because she had surgery. Stage 4 disease. I don't care what your friend said. No, we're not considering adoption yet. Mom, I have to go. He hung up, jaw clenched. What did she say? He hesitated. She thinks maybe you're too focused on getting pregnant, that you should adopt and take the pressure off. I laughed, a bitter, hollow laugh. Of course she does. I told her to stop. Did you? Or did you just say, Mom, not now, like you always do? Rachel, I'm tired, David. I'm tired of being dismissed by doctors, by your mother, by you. I'm not dismissing you. You are. Every time you don't defend me to her. Every time you suggest maybe I'm stressed. Every time you act like my pain is an inconvenience. He was quiet. I think I need space, I said. Space? From your mother. From this constant pressure. From feeling like I'm failing everyone. You're not failing. Then why does it feel like I am? I started going to a support group, for women with endometriosis. Every Tuesday night, 7 women sitting in a circle in a community center in Capitol Hill. Folding chairs, coffee nobody touched, all of us carrying invisible scars. The first night, I almost left. Sat in my car for 10 minutes, engine running, telling myself I didn't need this. But then I thought about the alternative. Going home to David, who tried but didn't understand. Facing another month of trying and failing. Feeling alone in a pain nobody could see. So I turned off the car and I went inside. The facilitator was a woman named Linda. Mid-40s, warm smile. Stage 3 endo, hysterectomy at 38. "Welcome," she said when I walked in. "We're glad you're here." The women introduced themselves one by one. Sarah, Stage 4 endo, 2 surgeries, pregnant after 2 years of trying. Michelle, Stage 2, dealing with painful sex, marriage struggling. Alicia, Stage 3, trying to decide between another surgery or hysterectomy. Emma, Stage 1, just diagnosed, terrified of what came next. Jessica, Stage 4, IVF failed 3 times, considering surrogacy. Maya, Stage 2, pain managed with hormones, not sure if she wanted kids. When it was my turn, my voice shook. I'm Rachel, Stage 4. Surgery was 2 months ago, trying to get pregnant. Scared it won't happen. Sarah reached across the circle and squeezed my hand. "It can happen," she said. "I'm proof." That first meeting, I cried 3 times, not from sadness, from relief. These women understood. They didn't tell me to relax. They didn't suggest yoga. They didn't question whether my pain was real. They just knew. I went back every Tuesday, heard their stories, shared mine, learned I wasn't alone. Sarah became a friend. We started getting coffee after group. She told me about her pregnancy journey. It took 2 years after surgery, she said. 2 years of negative tests, of wondering if it would ever happen. And then one day, it just did. How did you not lose hope? She was quiet for a moment. I did lose hope, multiple times. But then I'd see a baby or hear a pregnancy announcement and realize I wasn't ready to give up yet. So I kept trying. What if I can't do that? Then you stop. And that's okay too. But Rachel, you just had surgery. Your body is still healing. Give yourself time. Time. Everyone kept telling me to give it time. But time felt like an enemy when you were 32 and your ovarian reserve was low, and every month that passed was another chance gone. Still, I tried to be patient. Month 1 of trying post-surgery? Negative. Month 2? Negative. Month 3? Negative. By month 4, the old familiar despair was creeping back in. David and I barely talked about it anymore. It was too painful, too loaded. We'd have sex on the right days, clinical and joyless, and then wait in silence for my period to arrive. When it did, I'd lock myself in the bathroom and cry. David would knock gently. "Rachel, you okay?" I'd say yes, even though I wasn't. Because what was the alternative? Fall apart every month? Make him feel guilty for something neither of us could control? Patricia still called, still asked, still suggested things like acupuncture and meditation and just not thinking about it. David got better at shutting her down. Not perfect, but better. One night in month 5, she called during dinner. David answered. I could only hear his side. "No, Mom, nothing yet. Because these things take time." "No, she's not too stressed." "Mom, I'm going to hang up now. Because you're not helping. I'll call you later." He hung up and looked at me. "I'm sorry. It's not your fault your mother doesn't understand boundaries. I know. But I should have set them years ago." "Yeah, you should have." He reached across the table and took my hand. "I love you. And whether we have a baby or not, that doesn't change." It was the first time he'd said something like that, and it helped. Not a lot, but a little. Month 6 came. I was 3 days late. I didn't want to test, didn't want another disappointment. But David noticed. "Have you tested?" "Not yet." "Why not?" "Because I'm terrified." He sat beside me on the couch. "Whatever it says, we'll figure it out. Together." The next morning, I took the test, hands shaking so badly I almost dropped it. Set it on the counter. Walked out of the bathroom, counted to 90, went back 2 lines, faint, but definitely there. My legs gave out. I sat on the bathroom floor, staring at the test, unable to believe it. Took another test, same result, and another. Still positive. David found me 20 minutes later, surrounded by positive tests crying on the bathroom floor. He dropped to his knees.
Is that?
I nodded, unable to speak.
He pulled me into his arms and we cried together. Not celebrating, too scared for that.
Just breathing,
Holding each other,
afraid to hope.
but hoping anyway.
The first ultrasound was at 6 weeks. Dr. Kim did it herself. I lay on the table, gripping David's hand, staring at the screen, waiting, praying. And then, a flicker, tiny, rapid, unmistakable.
There's the heartbeat, Dr. Kim said, smiling. Strong and steady.
I burst into tears. David kissed my forehead over and over, his own eyes wet. Dr. Kim squeezed my shoulder.
You did it, Rachel.
But it still didn't feel real. 8-week ultrasound, baby measuring perfectly. 10 weeks, heartbeat still strong. 12 weeks, all blood work normal. Low risk for abnormalities. Every appointment, I expected bad news. Every appointment, I braced for loss. But week after week, our baby grew. I told the support group at 14 weeks. They cried with me, hugged me, told me they knew it would happen, Sarah especially. See, she said, I told you. We told Patricia at 16 weeks. I was showing by then, couldn't hide it anymore. We invited her over for dinner, David told her. She burst into tears. Oh, thank God. I was starting to think it would never happen. I'm so happy you finally relaxed enough to let it happen. My jaw clenched. David put his hand on my knee under the table. Then he looked at his mother. Mom, she didn't relax. She had major surgery. She fought for a diagnosis that took 5 years. She spent our entire savings on treatment. This didn't happen because she relaxed. It happened despite everything working against her. Patricia looked stunned. I didn't mean, yes, you did. You've been dismissing her pain for years, suggesting she was making it worse by thinking about it, telling her to just try harder. And it needs to stop. David, I was just trying to help. You weren't helping. You were making it worse. And if you want to be part of this baby's life, you need to start respecting Rachel. Actually respecting her, not just pretending to. Patricia's face went red. She stood up. I think I should leave. I think you should. She left without saying goodbye. David turned to me. I should have done that 3 years ago. Yeah? I'm sorry it took so long. Me too. He pulled me close. I'm going to do better. I promise. I wanted to believe him. The pregnancy progressed. 20-week anatomy scan. Baby girl. Everything perfect. 24 weeks. Feeling movement every day. 28 weeks. Baby measuring right on track. 32 weeks. Getting tired, but feeling grateful. 36 weeks. Ready to meet her. Labor started at 39 weeks and 2 days. 3 a.m. Contractions woke me up. I lay there for an hour, timing them, before waking David. I think it's time. We got to the hospital at 6 a.m. Contractions were 5 minutes apart. They admitted me immediately. Labor was long. 22 hours. Painful. Exhausting. But different than the endo pain. This pain had purpose. This pain was bringing my daughter into the world. Dr. Kim delivered her. At 4:37 a.m. the next morning, after one final push, they placed her on my chest, tiny, screaming, perfect. I looked down at her and sobbed, not from pain, from joy, from disbelief, from overwhelming, crushing, beautiful gratitude. Hi, Lily, I whispered. I'm your mama. I've been waiting so long to meet you. She opened her eyes, dark, unfocused, but looking right at me, and I fell in love in a way I didn't know was possible. David cut the cord with shaking hands, kissed my forehead, whispered, You did it. You really did it. The first few weeks were hard. Sleep deprivation, breastfeeding struggles, hormones crashing. But every time I looked at Lily, I remembered the years of pain, the doctors who dismissed me, the ER visits, the surgery, the fight. All of it led to her, and she was worth it. Every moment, every tear, every fight, worth it. Patricia came to visit when Lily was 2 weeks old. She didn't bring opinions, just a gift, a handmade baby blanket. I'm sorry, she said quietly, for not understanding, for dismissing your pain, for making it about me. I was surprised. David talked to me, she continued, really talked to me, made me understand what you went through, and I'm ashamed of how I acted. Thank you for saying that. Can I hold her? I nodded. She sat down and I placed Lily in her arms. Patricia looked at her granddaughter with tears in her eyes. She's perfect. She is. You're a good mother, Rachel. Better than I was. I didn't know what to say to that, so I just said, thank you. It wasn't perfect. We weren't suddenly best friends, but
It was a start. 6 months after Lily was born, I got a letter from the Washington State Medical Board. Dr. Whitman was under investigation. Multiple women had filed complaints, all describing the same pattern: dismissal of chronic pain, refusal to order necessary tests, gaslighting about anxiety and stress. I read the letter 3 times, felt something shift in my chest. Validation. Finally, 2 weeks later, I ran into him. Target, Saturday afternoon. I was pushing Lily in the cart, grabbing diapers, when I turned the corner, and there he was, Dr. Robert Whitman, standing in the pharmacy section. He saw me, froze. His face went pale. I could have walked away, should have walked away, but something in me refused. I walked toward him. He looked like he wanted to disappear. "Rachel," he said quietly, I didn't expect to see you here." "I live here. Did you expect me to move?" He shifted uncomfortably, wouldn't meet my eyes. "I heard about your diagnosis. I'm glad you got answers." Glad. Like he hadn't spent 3 years telling me those answers didn't exist. "Are you?" I asked. "Are you really glad? Or are you just scared I'm one of the women who filed a complaint?" His jaw tightened. "I treated you to the best of my ability." "No. You dismissed me. You gaslit me. You told me I wasn't meant to be a mother. You made me feel crazy for 5 years." People were staring now, other shoppers slowing down, listening. He lowered his voice. "Rachel, I understand you're upset, but this isn't the place." "Why? Because people might hear? Because they might know what kind of doctor you really are?" "I made clinical judgments based on the information I had." "You made assumptions. You decided I was hysterical before you even examined me properly. And you know what the worst part is?" He didn't answer. "I almost believed you. I almost gave up. I almost let you convince me I was crazy. And if that ER resident hadn't listened to me, I'd probably be dead right now." His face crumbled. You never meant to hurt me? But you did. You hurt me and dozens of other women, and now you're under investigation, and you're going to lose patients, and your reputation is ruined. And you know what?" I leaned closer. "You deserve every bit of it." I turned and walked away, pushed Lily's cart toward checkout, and I felt lighter than I had in years. A month later, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. "Hello? Rachel Martinez?" "Yes." "My name is Jennifer Whitman. I'm Dr. Whitman's wife." My blood ran cold. "I'm calling because I read your complaint to the medical board, and I need you to know something." She paused. I heard her voice crack. "He did the same thing to me." I sat down. "What?" 20 years ago, when we were first married, I started having severe pelvic pain. He told me I was being dramatic, that I was stressed, that I needed to see a psychiatrist, not a gynecologist." Her voice broke. "It took me 3 years to get diagnosed with stage 4 endometriosis. By the time I had surgery, I'd lost both fallopian tubes. I never got to have children." Tears stung my eyes. "I'm so sorry. I wanted to thank you," she said, "for speaking up, for filing that complaint. Because of you and the other women, I finally told him what he did to me, what he cost me. And I left him." "You left him?" "Last week. I'm filing for divorce. And I'm going to testify in the medical board hearing if they need me." I couldn't speak. "You saved other women, Rachel. Thank you." She hung up. I sat there for a long time, thinking about Jennifer, about all the women Dr. Whitman had failed, about how one man's arrogance had destroyed so many lives. The investigation concluded 3 months later. Dr. Whitman was suspended for a year, required to complete extensive training, and when he came back, his practice was a shadow of what it had been. Most of his patients had left. The reviews online told the story. Dismissed my pain for years. Told me it was in my head. Almost died because he wouldn't listen. His reputation was ruined. And I didn't feel guilty about it. Not even a little. As for Patricia, her karma came differently. When Lily turned 1, David's extended family had a big party. Patricia showed up with her opinions, as always. She tried to hold Lily. Lily cried. Reached for me. Patricia's face fell. She doesn't even know me. David looked at her calmly. That's because you're barely in her life, Mom. You made that choice when you told Rachel she was dragging me down. The room went quiet. Family members exchanged glances. Patricia's face went red. David, I was just concerned. You were cruel. You told my wife she wasn't meant to be a mother. You suggested I should leave her. And when she got diagnosed with stage 4 endometriosis, a disease that was literally destroying her organs, you still didn't apologize. I didn't know it was that serious because you didn't ask. You didn't care.
You just wanted to be right. He took Lily from my arms, held her close. This is my daughter. Rachel fought for 5 years to have her. She nearly died. She lost jobs and friends and parts of herself. And she did it without your support. So no, Mom. You don't get to pretend to be Grandmother of the Year now. Patricia looked around the room. No one came to her defense. Not David's brother. Not his aunt. No one. She grabbed her purse. I see how it is. She left. David's aunt walked over to us. About time someone said that. She's been insufferable for years. Other family members nodded. Agreed. Told stories of their own about Patricia's cruel comments. David looked at me. I should have done that years ago. Yeah. You should have. I'm sorry it took so long. I squeezed his hand. But you did it. That's what matters. And as for Jessica, the coworker who reported me to HR, karma found her too. A year after I left that job, I got a message from another former coworker. Thought you'd want to know. Jessica got fired. Turns out she was falsifying her expense reports, stealing from the company. They found thousands of dollars in fraudulent claims. I stared at the message, felt nothing. Not satisfaction, not vindication, just nothing. Because Jessica didn't matter anymore. None of them did. The people who hurt me, who dismissed me, who made me feel small, they were all facing consequences now, and I was finally free. Lily is 2 now. She's strong-willed and loud and fearless. She has David's eyes and my determination. Every time she falls and gets back up, I think, that's my girl. She doesn't know about the pain, the years of suffering, the fight to bring her into the world. And maybe she never will. Or maybe one day, when she's older, I'll tell her. Tell her that sometimes you have to fight for what you want. That your body is worth fighting for. That your pain is real, even when others don't see it. That you deserve to be heard. But for now, I just hold her, watch her grow. Feel grateful for every single day, because I know how close I came to never having this. And I will never, ever take it for granted. Month 6 came. I was late. I didn't want to get excited. I'd been late before, but David noticed. Have you tested? Not yet. Why not? Because I'm scared. He held my hand. Whatever it says, we'll figure it out. I took the test the next morning, alone. In the bathroom, hands shaking. I set the test on the counter, walked away, counted to 90, came back, 2 lines. Faint, but there. I took 3 more tests, all positive. I started crying, not sad tears, not even happy tears, relief tears. David found me on the bathroom floor, surrounded by positive tests. He dropped to his knees beside me. Is this real? I think so. We held each other and cried, scared, hopeful. Grateful. The pregnancy was terrifying. Every twinge made me panic. Every appointment, I braced for bad news. But week after week, the baby grew. 8 weeks, heartbeat strong. 12 weeks, all tests normal. 20 weeks, a healthy baby girl. We told Patricia at 16 weeks. She cried. Oh, thank God. I knew it would happen once you relaxed. I bit my tongue. David, for once, didn't. Mom, she didn't relax. She had major surgery. She fought for a diagnosis everyone told her she didn't need. This didn't happen because she relaxed. It happened despite everything working against her. Patricia looked stunned. I was just trying to be encouraging. You weren't encouraging. You were dismissive. And it stops now. She left in a huff. David turned to me. I should have done that years ago. Yeah, you should have. I'm sorry. I know. It wasn't perfect. But it was a start. Our daughter was born in October, after 22 hours of labor. When they placed her on my chest, tiny and screaming and perfect, I sobbed. Not from pain, from joy, from disbelief, from gratitude. We named her Lily, because after years of darkness, she was our light. 6 months after Lily was born, I got a letter in the mail from the Washington State Medical Board. Dear Miss Martinez, we are writing to inform you that Dr. Robert Whitman is currently under investigation following multiple complaints regarding patient care. I read it 3 times. Other women had come forward. Other women he'd dismissed. Other women who'd suffered because he refused to listen. The investigation found a pattern of dismissive care toward female patients reporting chronic pain. He was suspended for 6 months, required to complete additional training. His reputation was damaged. I didn't feel triumphant. I just felt
sad. Sad for all the women like me. Sad that it took so long. Sad that the system failed us. But I also felt something else. Vindication. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't dramatic. I was right. And now, finally, people knew it. Patricia never apologized. Not directly, but she started listening more. Stopped offering unsolicited advice. And when she held Lily, I saw something in her eyes. Maybe not understanding, but respect. That was enough. Lily is 2 now. She has David's eyes and my determination. She's healthy and wild and loud. And every time I look at her, I remember the years of pain, the doctors who didn't believe me, the surgery that saved my life, the fight to be heard. She's my reminder that I didn't give up, that I kept fighting, that I survived. If you're going through something similar, if doctors are dismissing you, if people are telling you to relax, if you feel like you're screaming into a void, please don't stop fighting. Your pain is real. You're not dramatic. You deserve to be heard, and you're not alone. If you're trying to conceive and struggling with pain or irregular cycles, I've created a free resource that might help. It's called 7 Signs of Ovulation to Watch For, and you can download it at www.theinfertilitysecrets.com. But more than that, I want you to know this. Your body isn't broken. Your struggle matters. And the right doctor, the right diagnosis, the right treatment, they're out there. Don't stop looking. Don't stop fighting. Don't stop believing you deserve answers, because you do. And one day, you'll hold your miracle in your arms and realize every moment of pain was worth it. Every fight was worth it. You were worth it all along.